So we're going to be moving into some of our audience questions that we've had written down for us so far. This one's coming from Jake Turner. The question is, I'm sorry, this is for all four of you as a general question. What do you plan to do about the administration spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on outside attorneys to negotiate city labor union contracts? Also, what can you do to pressure the administration into properly restaffing the city's safety forces? Whoever would like to start.
Well, as I just said in regard to legal services, if I am on the finance committee again, or if I'm reelected, period, I will only vote for a budget that has $0 in the legal services fund, because if there are conciliators or arbitrators that we need to pay out of that fund, or insurance counsel or something like that that's unavoidable, those are expenditures that we have to make. But I don't want to use divisive language, because in the last couple months, although there have been a lot of hurt feelings at city council meetings, to the point where I actually walked out because I thought I was disrespected, I do believe that everyone who works for the city has the city's best interest in mind. So legal services is definitely something that I think we should evaluate. And in terms of staffing levels, I would love to have a fire department and a police department and a street department, and every department have more than enough people and the ability to have more than enough people. And although I think everybody who works in those departments enjoys the occasional overtime and the little cushion in their paycheck, we need to have fully staffed departments. There's no question about that. But as a city, as our population changes, as our finance changes, we have to evaluate what services we can effectively provide, because I don't want to put any firefighter or policeman in any kind of dangerous position where they don't have enough backup and their life is at risk because there aren't enough other guys in cars that can come and help you. I don't want to be in that position. So we have to seriously evaluate what services we are capable of providing at the highest level. And I don't know what that is right now. I mean, so much of our safety service contracts are left up to what is determined in negotiations. And that's not something, as a council person, that I am not only allowed, but would it be appropriate for me to insert myself into. We have a safety service director and an auditor who know the finances and who know the departments. And while I don't always have warm, fuzzy feelings toward every member of the city administration, I do believe they have our best interests at heart. I do believe that they understand the job. And so long as city council has proper checks and balances in place and we are holding all of those people accountable, I think we can continue to provide good services at an acceptable or even an excellent level. And as long as there's the funding to do that, I will certainly support it. But a lot of that is determined at the negotiating table, and we need good negotiators. We need to be able to bargain in good faith. That is critical, because I don't like it when we have multiple city unions expressing votes of no confidence in various city employees. I've been fortunate to be endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, but frankly, just because they have confidence in me isn't enough. I want all of our city employees to have confidence in all of the city administrators who are making decisions. And so, like Brian said, and like I've been preaching for several months at our council meetings, we need transparency, we need communication, and we need to realistically understand what services we can provide as a city and provide them well, because I don't want to shortchange our residents and I don't want to put any of our employees' lives in danger.
So Julie's absolutely correct when it comes to the legal expenses, outside legal expenses, and I can tell you that I would stand with Julie in refusing to allow any money into that fund, because I don't really understand why it takes 2.5 years to negotiate a contract and why someone made a whole lot of money while they negotiated that contract on our behalf. That bothers me. And so I do believe that council, because they hold the purse strings, needs to hold them to task when these things start to happen with outside legal expenses. As far as staffing goes, it is a budget issue. It is a contract negotiation issue. And the only way that we as council can change that and bring us up to the staffing levels that we need to be at is by figuring out a solution to our budget issues. So that's where we need to be doing our work. And I too am endorsed by the FOP, but she's right. They need to have faith in everyone. And maybe together, if council can be together on an issue, then the city will come to the table and they will operate in good faith.
One thing, when we were talking about the legal fees, one thing I didn't like over last year, it seems like, and Julie can attest this, is council was kept in the dark on a lot of things, in which I don't, again, get that, because if you're representing the city, our own representatives don't even know what's going on. And also, I'm not sure what the amount is, but I know each case is only supposed to have a certain amount. I'm also in favor of a legislation that has to go through council before we spend a certain amount of money on outside legal fees. In fact, I'm even in favor of any time we have to use legal fees that it has to go through council. Then that way we're all on the same page. Everybody knows what's going on. But this stuff where all 7 people on council doesn't know what's going on, it's not even acceptable, not even close. In terms of the everything we've been saying tonight, one thing I want to make clear, I do think we need to protect the integrity and obviously the whole safety service force. One thing I want to sort of goes in line with the safety services that I'm in favor of that Chief Hunt is talking about is the new ambulance that was donated by Sar Shones, talking about transport service. I've looked at that into that quite a bit, and it seems as though the money that it's going to cost to fund the people to run that along with the maintenance of the vehicle, it would be outweighed the opposite way by the money it would generate. So that's something I'm totally in favor of. That's a good generator for the firefighters right there alone, which could help with a lot of things, a new vehicle down the road, equipment, overtime that is necessary, things of that nature. So, okay, thank you.
With our budget the way it is, we need to find a way, I feel, to reach out to the other counties, reach out to Canton, reach out to places around here and try to get a joint effort going to accomplish some of our goals that we work together. I'm not endorsed by the FOP because they didn't invite us. It doesn't matter if you're endorsed by the FOP, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're elected for that spot because you're here for the people. They wanted you in there, you're going to speak for them and not for a certain party or anything like that there. That's the first thing. Second thing is, Julie brought the fact that she got walked out of a meeting because she was upset. Anybody in here, if you get up and walk out of your job in the middle of your job and say you're upset, you don't want to work anymore, would you be there? No. Would you also be there if, say, if I'm paying your wage, you think I'm going to keep paying you? So she got up, well, she left in the middle of the meeting on your dollars, on your taxpayer dollars. So if something else could happen later in that meeting, could have need to vote on, she wasn't there. Could be something important she had to say, but she got up and left. So we have to find a way to keep everybody at the table and not get up. That includes negotiations with our contract. I know the city council, we don't negotiate them, but we can find a way to tighten up first in our legal department. If they don't want to waste money on frivolous manuals, frivolous witch hunts in other departments and stuff like that there, we need to tell them anytime they want to spend money, they need to come to us. Julie did brought back last year, or this year, about legislation about make sure all the funds are approved through the city or through the city council. I agree with that totally. It should happen.
Can I respond to that?
Absolutely.
It's true. I did walk out of a city council meeting, and that was a decision that I made in the heat of the moment. There is no doubt about that. But for months, I was demanding answers about money that was being spent, about people that were being hired by the city, and I wasn't getting any answers. I was told that it either had to happen in executive session, or I wasn't privy to that information, or because I'm not the city's lawyer, I wasn't allowed to know. And it is my job to find out those answers. So at that meeting, I was once again demanding answers. I had a report in my hand that had cost the city $9,000, and I was not even allowed to ask 2 questions. And so if I'm not allowed to do my job, there's no point in me being there. So at that meeting, I made a statement. I walked out. It's true. But you know what? I've put in enough hours at those meetings, outside of those meetings, doing research that I guarantee, although I respect my colleagues very much, I am the hardest working person on city council. So it's true I walked out. I absolutely did. I own it. There's video of it. But you know what? I think I put in enough hours that those 7.5 minutes that I missed at that meeting, it's okay.
With regard to the FOP endorsement and the minimization that was just made, the FOP didn't invite anyone to come and speak with them. I approached them very assertively and requested their endorsement. I know that Julie approached them as well. We worked for that endorsement. And we didn't get the endorsement because it means we're just going to support the police department or we're just going to support the fire department. We got that endorsement because these are people who put their lives on the line for our community every single day. And they are some of the smartest people I've met in this town. They know what goes on here. They know what should happen and what shouldn't happen. And we had to answer hard questions to get that endorsement. So that's something that I'm very proud of, and I'm very offended that it was minimized in that way.